Diaspora Commission is warning against illegal migration as Abike Dabiri visits some Nigerians in makeshift shelter in Canada a day after the National Economic Council spoke on Japa syndrome. And agitation is now in the air over the dissolution of Rivers APC executives as the party has now inaugurated a new caretaker committee leadership despite a court injunction. Hello everyone, welcome to the program. This is Politics Today live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimbaloye in Abuja. Tonight, two things that we will be bringing to you. One of it is what has become a worrying scenario for some of Nigerians who are now being caught in very unpleasant scenarios and situations outside of the country in the cold region of Canada. They were being visited by the unpleasant circumstances when Abike Dabiri, the Director General of NIGHTCOM, visited them, and she's warning against any illegal documentation or illegal migration abroad. We'll be giving you details of the situation there. What about the situation of some Nigerians in Ethiopia? What is the government doing about it? This is coming a day after the National Economic Council spoke about issues of Japa syndrome and how they want to partner with the European Union. We're speaking about that, and of course, trouble is brewing in Rivers State. Well, the party dissolved the executive of the party in the state and have now inaugurated a 7-man committee, a caretaker committee in the state, despite a court injunction. We'll be bringing you all of the details of that and the perspectives towards these issues. Stay with me, everyone. First, let me tell you what happened today at the presidential villa, where President Bola Tinubu has met with the governors-elect of Imo and Kogi State. The first time since the president will be meeting the winners declared by INEC. The meeting took place at the presidential villa, where some party leaders and governors were also present.
The challenge has just started. The challenge is just starting to stare you in the face. The challenge of governance, making sure that people of your various states are carried along first. You become a dedicated servant of the people from this mandate. To God be the glory. God will continue to guide each and every one of you in the adult tasks ahead of you.
As the president, Bola Tinubu. Well, we'll begin our conversations after we served you with your political roundup stories.
The Court of Appeal in Abuja has affirmed the election of Governor Obasani of Kaduna State. In a judgment by the 3-member panel of the appellate court, held that the tribunal acted in error when it depended on inadmissible evidence to order the conduct of supplementary polls in 22 polling units of 4 local government areas where the exercise was deemed inconclusive. The court adds that the key witness called by the PDP during the tribunal hearing merely gave hearsay evidence as he wasn't present when the malpractices he alleged happened. The appeal court held that the allegations of deductions of votes, stuffing of ballot boxes, mutilation of sensitive electoral materials made by the said witness were born out of hearsay. Amidst the leadership tussle bedeviling the All Progressive Grand Alliance, some members of the party are accusing the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, of partisanship and refusal to obey valid court orders. orders. At a news conference in Abuja, Mr. Edozie Njoku claims INEC has refused to recognize him as the authentic national chairman of the party, despite a court order to that effect. He alleges that INEC's refusal to obey valid court orders is contemptuous. The Bishop of Sokoto Diocese of the Catholic Church, Most Reverend Matthew Kuka, has faulted the civil society organizations and their academic community for not demonstrating a high level of intelligence in holding the judiciary and the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC accountable towards ensuring a free and fair electoral process and deepening democracy in the country. He spoke today at the 8th edition of the House of Justice Summit held in Kaduna State with the theme Electoral Accountability and Democratic Stability.
To show you the mindset of Nigeria, see the way civil society and everybody celebrated all the reports that Nigerian civil society organizations tried were not important. It is until the EU brought out his report that Nigeria started celebrating.
The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, says henceforth National Identification Number (NIN) and Bank Verification Number (BVN) will be required to obtain a Certificate of Occupancy (COO) in Abuja. The minister explained that existing landowners in the Federal Capital must obtain a recertification to incorporate these new features with payment of nominal fee for recertification. The minister adds that he has been refraining from signing COOs since assuming office and has now introduced enhanced security measures such as the inclusion of NIN for individuals and BVN for corporate bodies. President of the Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio, has urged the federal government to deploy ecological funds towards tackling life-threatening environmental challenges. Senator Akpabio gave the advice during an interactive session between the Senate leadership and officials of the Ecological Fund Agency, led by the Permanent Secretary of the Ecological Project Office, Mr. Shehu Ibrahim, at the National Assembly.
Thank you so much indeed, everyone, for staying with us on the program tonight. Well, we will get there in a moment, but let me hint you the fact that the chairman of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Mr. Abike Dabiri Arewa, has urged Nigerians to traveling abroad to have proper documentation to avoid irregularities and unpleasant consequences. Dabiri Arewa stated this when she visited some Nigerians in one of the shelters in Brampton, in Canada. Dabiri Arewa warned Nigerians who have the intent to travel to Canada either without proper documentation or to seek asylum to desist, as the situation is getting tougher in many countries. It was a statement that was released by our office, and of course, there was a video which surfaced on the NIGHTCOM X page, which they were warning that Nigerians should avoid irregular migration. That is not worth it. Urging Nigerians who traveling abroad to go legitimately and with proper documentation to avoid any unpleasant consequences. We'll be getting to her in a moment, but let's tell you, of course, what happened today at the national headquarters of the APC, where the party has inaugurated a 7-man committee, caretaker committee, that will steer the affairs of the party in Rivers State for the next 6 months. Just a few days ago, the National Working Committee of the party announced the dissolution of the state executives of the APC in Rivers State, and one that it will go ahead and set up a steering caretaker committee that will help the party pilot the affairs for the next 6 months. And there are pictures, images coming through from the party as from the inauguration ceremony of today. But there was being a pushback from those that have been dissolved, who make up the executives of the Rivers APC. They've since gone to court and secured an injunction to stop the party from inaugurating a caretaker committee. But the party has since gone ahead today in Abuja to inaugurate the committee. We'll be speaking with the spokesperson of the now dissolved Rivers APC state executives, Mr. Darlington Onwa-Uju, who joins us live from Port Harcourt in Rivers State. All right, he will be joining us in a moment. But let's take a breather, everyone. When we return, We'll be speaking with Honorable Abike Dabiri Erewa and Darlington Nwaju, and all of these issues, we'll be breaking them down for you. Stay with us, everyone. We'll be right back. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. Let's touch base with the matter in respect of the Rivers APC. Don't forget, now, there are ministers from Rivers State, one of which is Nyesom Wike, the minister of the FCT, who addressed, who spoke with journalists today and was speaking about a few things. But in that line, there are those who are aggrieved about the politics of Rivers State as it affects the APC. Now, the Rivers APC executives were dissolved by the National Working Committee, and today, 7-member caretaker committee members were inaugurated by the NWC, and that has created some kind of agitation within the party in the state. In fact, some members of the dissolved executive are being speaking about these. One of them tonight will be joining us. Those are pictures from the inauguration today at the party headquarters. One of them is the spokesperson of the dissolved executives of the APC in Rivers State, Darlington Nwaju, who joins us virtually from Port Harcourt. Thank you so much, Darlington, for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me, Shehu. Good evening, Nigerians.
One will imagine that a party is supreme, and when the supremacy of your party at the national level fell on the strong armor of your party supremacy, fell on you and your colleagues in the state executives, one imagine that you were agitated and you frowned at it. From your own point of view, isn't the party no longer supreme?
Shehu, the truth of the matter remains that, first of all, I want to thank you and thank your station for giving us this opportunity. Now, the argument about the supremacy of the party is not in doubt. What we are talking about is how does the party survive? We are talking about the fact that the party, by this singular decision, is being deoxygenated. Life is being removed out of the party. The party is being asphyxiated. And now you cannot take a decision wherein I liken it to cutting off your nose in order to spite your face. Now, the Rivers APC is a peculiar case. The case of Rivers State APC is quite peculiar. We have lost over 100 persons. Human beings, not mere statistics. Human beings created by God Almighty have been lost due to the politics of Rivers State, just because they belong or they chose to belong to the APC. And so when you take a decision that seems to slight those persons who have trudged on, who have defied all odds to remain with the APC, then there is much to be desired. And we wonder if your decision is for the overall interest or betterment of the party, or you want to hand the party over to political undertakers to bury the party. So it's not a question of the executive trying to question the supremacy of the party, but we want to test the veracity of relevant articles of our own constitution, the Bible of the All Progressive Congress, 2022, as amended. We want to test the veracity of those provisions, especially Article 17 of our Constitution and Article 13 sub 3 and Article 13 sub 4, where it clearly does not give the National Working Committee of the party power to dissolve validly elected executives. This decision can only be taken by the neck of the party. And we are aware that the neck of the party only met on the 3rd of August this year.
No, Mr. Waju
of the APC in Rivers
apologies.
State,
Let me just pause you for a moment. Let me pause you for a moment because the relevant articles of your party's constitution, that which I have a copy in my hand here, that you make reference to. I like to make reference to part of it. Now, you made reference, and I'll read a portion where you said it is in the powers of the NEC. But under the powers of the National Working Committee, therein it says, the National Working Committee shall have the power to set up a caretaker committee in place of any organ where exists, in the opinion of the National Working Committee, a lacuna by virtue of any act or omission done in furtherance of this Constitution. That is the article under 13, which you quoted, is in the past of the NWC of your party.
So, if the constitution that I have with me, which is the updated version, updated in March, it was amended on the 26th day of March in 2022. This is the latest version of our party constitution. In fact, let me also say this, that there are diverse versions of our party constitution, but this is the very latest version of our constitution. And if you look through Article 13, sub 3, sub 3B, you will clearly see it stated that notwithstanding anything to the contrary in this constitution, the National Executive Committee shall have the power to set up a caretaker committee in the place of any organ at all levels. Now, there is nowhere under the powers or functions of the National Working Committee of our party wherein powers are donated to the National Working Committee to dissolve any organ of the APC. The only powers donated to the National Working Committee to work or to function is the powers to grant waivers in special circumstances. Powers to very clear, written in black and white. I did not make this. I got this constitution from the National Secretariat of our political party.
I mean, you're reading the NEC, the powers of the NEC. Well, I'm not a member of your party. In the same way I have a constitution of other political parties, the same way I obtain and I bought an original copy of your party constitution, and I'm reading to you.
People are carrying different versions of our party constitution. I just pointed that out to you. This is the recognized amended version of our party constitution.
Go through.
Amended on the 26th day of March in 2022.
If you go through the powers of the NWC from the beginning to the end, you might be able to find it. But I just posed that question to you, that it does exist under the powers of the NWC.
It does not
to set
exist,
up.
Mr.
I just read it to you. But I mean, that's the business of you. That is the business of you and your party.
Let me also let you know that Section 82 of the Electoral Act 2022 as amended has clearly listed, stated in no ambiguous terms how political parties should be run. Section 82 of the Electoral Act. And so anything you do as a political party that is ultra vires these grand norms remains null and void.
Mr. Waju,
there's no way we can put the cat before the horse.
Just a moment, Mr. Waju. Just a moment. Let me put the question in.
I can hear you.
Let me ask you. You, as the dissolved spokesperson of the party now, who is your leader? Who do you say is your ultimate leader in Rivers APC as Darlington?
Well, Mr. Shehu, the leader of the APC in Rivers State is not under contention at all.
Is that the name of the person?
Is it the Honorable Chibike Rotimi Amechi, the former transportation minister and former governor of Rivers State?
Okay, that is the leader of your party. And I'd like to ask you, Have you seen the names of the 7-member committee that have been inaugurated today, to be chaired by Chief Tony Okocha? Yeah, Chief Tony Okocha.
I have seen the names. I have seen
what
the names.
What is your grievance or the grievance of your group against Chief Tony Okocha and these other 6 persons?
Now, there is no grievance about individuals because this is not a personality contest. This is not about Darlington Wauju. This is about the APC. The argument is not about if a caretaker committee has membership drawn from anywhere on earth. We are talking about the veracity, the legality of the action. Now, let me say this, Mr. Shehu. On the 26th day of September 2023, the leadership of the APC together with our governorship candidate, Pastor Kiteto, did pay a courtesy visit on Abdullah Iganduje-led NWC. And I want to paraphrase some of the words, some of the things he said to us. He said, you guys are the landlord of the party in Rivers State. You must, however, accommodate, open your doors to those who angrily left you and went to other political party platforms to contest. You must also accommodate those who want to join you from other political parties. That was what he said to that delegation, and it's on record. So you cannot, the argument is not about whether Tony Okocha or not Tony Okocha. Tony Okocha is someone that never revalidated his membership of the APC, contrary to the decision, contrary to the decision of the neck of the APC.
So, Mr. Waju, let me ask you, are these people...
It's not a personality
just a moment,
at all.
Just a moment. Are these people, these 7 caretaker committee members, as inaugurated today by the NWC, are they members of your party in Rivers?
I was just coming to that concerning the number 1 on the list. As we speak, he is not a member of the APC. Tony Okocha left the APC together with Senator Magnus Abe to join forces with him at the SDP, and he later left to support the PDP candidate in Rivers State. Everybody in Rivers State is aware that this man never campaigned for any of the candidates of the APC in Rivers State, for crying out loud. And so how can a man who worked against the APC turn around to be given the mandate of leading the APC? Which of the APC is he going to lead? Now, it is not about the person of Tony Okocha. It is about the legality of the action of the Ganduje-led NWC. And we are saying that it is ultra-virus our constitution. It negates the laws and the rules of the Electoral Act 2022 as amended. There is no way you can get an executive without the imprimatur, without the permission, without the consent of the generality of the membership of the APC in Rivers State. And these are the issues. It is not a personality.
There are those
individuals.
Darlington, there are those who think that some of these people are loyalists of Minister Nyesom Wike. Is that true?
Now, the number 1 person on that list has never hidden his preference for Nyesom Wike. He has never hidden the fact that he's a loyalist of Nyesom Wike. So that question is already answered. The fact that these persons are loyalists of Wike is public knowledge.
Is it also true for those who are saying, well, the cry about this caretaker committee is perhaps for some political leaders in your party in Rivers State that are going to be chased out of town and out of prominence because, according to them, that some of you never even worked for Bola Tinubu to become president and a candidate of the APC.
Now, so we have heard this serial blackmail time and time again. It has become a broken record. Now, there are politicians whose relevance is only in the sphere and circumference of blackmails. And this interview, I guess, is not about discussing individuals and the history of serial blackmails and betrayals. Persons who worked for a political party are well established, well known. Can you deny the fact that somebody like Jack Rich was the one that sponsored billboards for the president in Port Harcourt, on the streets of Port Harcourt? Can you deny? They have argued that the leader of our party, the Right Honorable Chimikero Timamechi, gave instructions or gave marching orders for us to work against the APC. And I have always challenged them to provide evidences. However, we do have evidences, electronic and pictorial evidences, to prove that these persons who are today blackmailing the leader of our party were indeed the persons who worked against the interests of the APC. And so this is, I believe that time will take care of most of the blackmails against our leader. It cannot stand. It will only, at the end of the day, take him to where God has destined him to be.
All right, let me ask you. You've heard former Governor Nyesom Wike, who has said it openly, of who he worked for in the presidential election. And in fact, he didn't hide it that he worked for Bola Tinubu and the APC at the presidential election. And there are those who believe that if not for Nyesom Wike, Bola Tinubu wouldn't have won in Rivers State. So where were you and your friends when Nyesom Wike was working for Bola Tinubu?
Shehu, I will answer you. There's a cliche that when Nigerians want to answer some questions, they answer rhetorically by asking you questions. Now, I will ask you to provide to Nigerians evidences where the immediate past governor of the state, who is today Minister of the FCT by the grace of God, please show us evidences of where he openly campaigned for the president. Please, we would like to see where he campaigned openly for Mr. President. I think if you provide us with such evidences, you must, and you would have succeeded in silencing us.
I mean, I'm not in contention with you. This is an issue within you and your political party.
It is not about being in contention with me.
So the question,
it's about speaking fact. It is about speaking truth.
You are the one contending.
It is about consistency.
You're the one contending whether or not you work for Bola Tinubu to become president.
At some point, Mr. Shehu, hold on. I am aware that at some point, the FCT minister was saying, and he was caught on camera, that he would have preferred a P2B presidency. And so these are, there is no need prevaricating about these issues. These are things that are in the public domain.
I mean, you also heard where Chief Tony Okocha was quoted to have said that the past governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, should be the one to be given the ministerial slot meant for Rivers State. He was arguing the fact that the victory of President Tinubu in the state was made possible by Nyesom Wike. He also said that neither the SDP governorship candidate nor the former minister, Rotimi Amechi, deserved that slot because, according to them, that they did not work for Tinubu's success. But if you're talking to those members of your party, just a moment, if I may land on my question. Just a moment.
No, let me react to this quickly before
calm down. Let me land on my question.
Please,
Darlington, I guess you're reacting. You want to react to a question I want to ask you.
Yeah,
let me land on the question.
Something before I forget what I wanted to say.
Calm down. Let me ask the question. So if Chief Tony Okocha had said all of these people do not deserve to be minister from Rivers State, and I'm asking you tonight, if you can tell Nigerians these and these and these and these that you've done, you and your friends in Rivers State, to prove otherwise, Nyesom Wike's stance that he was the one responsible for Bola Tinubu's victory in Rivers State. Can you tell Nigerians tonight?
what I wanted to say before you insisted on asking all your questions is that there was never a time that the leader of our party indicated interest in serving in the government of our beloved president. Our leader is not a greedy or selfish politician. Our leader is altruistic, and I want to give that to him. Rivers people are aware of his track records, and no amount of blackmail can diminish the right the Honorable Jimmy Amechi. I can say that with all finality. Now, Pastor Toyeko has, if you are not aware, let me say that dates politics. It's whatever political interest shares with the leader of our party, Right Honorable Chimikero Amechi. So, arguing over who, if they were interested in becoming governors, or if they were not qualified. Now I say, who is more qualified than Toyeko? Who is more qualified than an engineer?
Darlington, unfortunately, the quality of your connection is now becoming terrible by the moment. But thank you so much indeed, Darlington. We'll watch you.
Who is more
thank you so much indeed for your time. Let's switch gears now and speak about the other matter we hope to take up tonight, which is the plight of Nigerians who are seeking to migrate out of the country. Now, Honorable Abike Dabiri-Adewa has been warning that Nigerians who want to leave the country should leave on a good note with proper documentation. And there's a video that surfaced online of some Nigerians who are staying in a shelter in Brampton, in Canada, where Honorable Abike Dabiri visited and shown that the willingness to help them.
And hopefully, we pray and hope that they will get out of this situation. It really is not quite a pleasant sight to behold. And we thank the Nigerians who have been supporting them.
We thank you for the stuff that you do for us and the main that you're going to be doing for us. We appreciate it though. Thanks.
And we just got good news to our brothers. We've been working behind the scenes, though we're not on camera all the time, but that's fine. My name is Pastor Vivian Etuka. I'm the founder of Better Food Bank. And by virtue, I had a meeting yesterday with the Appeal Board. The appeal was they were doing the budget, and Mayor Brown has promised us that by next week, fingers and toes crossed, we should have about 800 beds that will become available, so they will be able to be sitting somewhere on street and being able to...
You will need to endure. Don't have any expectation.
That was the video which surfaced online, which we can see vividly. Honorable Abike Dabiri-Adewa, who is the Director General of Nigerian Diaspora Commission. She's live with us virtually from Dallas in the United States. Honorable Abike Dabiri-Adewa, thank you so much indeed for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much. Nice to be with you this afternoon here.
It's evening and it's almost 8 p.m. here in Nigeria, but it's all good. Give us an understanding of what we saw there in that video about the situation. There are some Nigerians who are living in shelter out in Brampton, I guess, in Canada. I mean, it's a very cold region, perhaps sometimes -6, -7, sometimes up to -10 in that region. What was the situation like? Why were they there?
Thank you, Sheon. For me, I was invited by Nigerians in Brampton in particular to visit and come and see what was going on there. And day one, we saw very amazing businesses by Nigerians in Brampton. I mean, entrepreneurs, Wale Rabiu owning a bakery, Mercy, a whole lot of them doing amazing things in Brampton, and we were received by the mayor of Brampton. But of course, I could not leave without visiting the Nigerians in the shelter. Last week, a Nigerian died in one of those shelters. Even me, being a visitor, I could barely survive 15 minutes in the cold. So not to talk of being in that cold, sleeping overnight. So we went to the shelter, and that's just one shelter. What you showed was just one shelter of Nigerians. Africa, well, people generally...
Apologies, Honorable Abike, for cutting in. Shelter might not be a language that a lot of Nigerians are familiar with. If you can just explain what a shelter is, because shelter here is a house where ordinary and normal people live in, those who are okay.
Okay, shelter, where you saw that I visited, means a place where when you come to Canada, you get to the airport, you now hold your hands up and say, hey, I'm here, but I have nowhere to go to. No matter your circumstance, they're going to be kind enough to you to say, okay, we'll put you somewhere. So that is a shelter. So what you saw there were Nigerians who got there without proper documentation, who went there and said they're coming as tourists. And then some exceeded their tourist visa and say, I'm not leaving your country anymore. So that is a shelter. So what Canada does is take you somewhere where you will stay. And then you're going to say, well, I want to be your citizen. I want an asylum. Then rather than send you back immediately, they will listen to you and say, why do you want an asylum in our country? Then if you convince them, they'll say, okay, we can give you a place to stay before we take a decision on you. That is a shelter. So Canada is overstretched from what we found out, with many, many people, saying that, they want to stay and they don't want to leave. So they put you where they can put you. So when they put you there, what we did was went to visit them, give them food, a bit of support. And you saw Wale Rabiu, owner of Agege Bread, give them bread. There's a lady there, Pastor Vivian, who runs a food bank to give them food so that they can eat. And then the mayor of Brampton, whom we met earlier, had said he's going to provide 800 more beds. So what you saw there, in the evening, they're going to put their mattresses on the floor. Wherever you find yourself, then you sleep. So that's the external view of the shelter. So on the floor in the evening, 800 people, 1,000, I don't know the number, but you're going to put your bed, and don't forget they're not just Nigerians, you're going to put mattresses on the floor, if there are mattresses. If there are no mattresses, you're just going to sleep on the floor. So that is what a shelter is. And for us, the advice, and here's a very important message, which I took to them. The Nigerian government cannot help you, but we can sympathize with you and say, for the next person, hoping that, let me run abroad and then raise my hands up, seek a shelter. Some said, oh, we're being persecuted by Boko Haram. Some said, we're being persecuted because we're gay. Now, here's the thing. They know the truth. They know you're not being persecuted because you're gay. You have cross-dressers in Nigeria who are even on social media telling you that they are cross-dressers. So they know all the truth. At the end of the day, if they deny you that asylum, they're not even going to deport you. They're going to leave you. Then trouble starts. How do you survive? You're not even going to survive. Then you get into trouble, you're going into fraud and all that, and then you're going to prison. So our message is, if you're planning to do that, desist from it. Because there's no point. And those people you saw, they're paid for tickets. It's not cheap buying tickets, even an economy ticket to anywhere in Europe, not talk of Canada. So they paid. One of them told me that he sold his property to get there. So if you sell your property and you have 10 million naira, why would you want to now go to a shelter, a homeless place, saying that you're being persecuted in your country? So that is what we're going to say there.
The kind of honorable, and I know that you do not deal with only one country. You have your connection in several countries of the world where we have Nigerians who are residing. And you see a lot of shelters across, even in Washington, D.C., you drive, as you're coming from Virginia, from the airport into town, you see shelters all the way. In New York, you see a lot of shelters all the way. In fact, Dallas, where you are, you see a lot of Nigerians. You'll be shocked how many of Nigerians who are living in that country. But the question is, the kind of frustration that a lot of people face. Some people have jobs. It may not be paying them as much, but they are so frustrated and feel that there is a greener pasture out there that they can, and no matter what you tell them, they still want to experience it. What do you tell these kind of people who feel that Nigeria is not giving them the real deal?
Sharon, that's why we're talking to you this afternoon or evening. You're looking for a job, but you go to a place where you're going to die, most likely. You're looking for a job, but you're going to a place where you're not going to get a job. You're looking for a job, but you're going to a place where you're going to sleep on the streets. And then who knows what happens to you thereafter. So here's the thing. I agree that government must ensure that the environment makes it possible for you to at least, be able to say, well, I can survive here and there. But the key thing here is awareness. And that's my message. The awareness for that next person who says, I'm just going to jump on a plane, I'm going to cross the desert to go to these countries. It's very tough out here. I'm in Dallas now. And like you said, I've seen too many that are telling me, we wish we did not embark on this journey. So you can't stop migration, legal or illegal. But let's reduce the temptation to go and get into a tougher place. So if you're going, there's no problem about that. I have a medical doctor who I met yesterday, who is practicing here. He's frustrated. He says he doesn't like the environment. He says he wishes he was in Nigeria. He says he wishes he was earning, let's say 1 million naira Nigerian money, and then he'll be back home. And I told him that we're working with doctors, we're working with professionals to say what can be done about that. So don't live for greener, don't live for what you call a greener pasture to what I call a redder, if there's any work like that, pasture. Because really, 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 until you get there, before you know what you're going to see. And then don't forget that there are people who are trafficked. There are people who are lied to. I met a guy who paid 6 million naira to a trafficker who promised him employment. But then he got there and realized that there was nothing like that. At that point, you raise your hands up and say, well, I'm stuck. I need an asylum. So I think it's more about awareness and then being told the truth. Where you're going to, ensure that you have a job you're going to. Ensure that you have somebody who's going to look after you. Ensure that you know what you're going to before you embark on those justices. For Pastor Vivian, there's a lot of work for her. For Marilyn, there's a lot of work for them. For Bayo Adedosu, who is talking to them there. Wale Rabiu, who is an employer of labor, because he has a bakery in Canada. There's a lot of work for them because they can't say Nigerians and turn the other way. And for the mayor of Brampton, I have to commend the mayor, who particularly goes out of his way with this team to ensure that he does the best for asylum seekers in Canada. Yeah. But as a country, we need to tell ourselves the truth. It's not green out there. It's very, very red. It's very, very terrible out there. And that is the message I'm passing to Nigerians who are thinking of taking that next step of saying, and then the traffickers will tell them, don't worry, just get your visa, tourist visa. When you get there, raise your hands up, seek asylum. And then they lie about Nigeria. How can you lie that you have been
Honorable Abike Dabiri, I mean, I remember some of those reports you did back there in the days when you were on the street as a reporter, and some of the very, very terrible situation, plight of some Nigerians. But you will, over the years, discover that there is a failure of leadership in this country, to the extent that those who have just some little earnings will abandon those earnings and leave for what they are not sure of. I mean, I don't know how we can get a commitment from the government of Bola Tinubu tonight. The frustration that Nigerians get to the point that you leave an assured position to an unassured position is a level of frustration. That people think and see pictures of people going abroad. They don't even know what they do over there. But no matter what you tell them, they still think that it's greener. What kind of commitment is the Bola Tinubu government going to give Nigerians today to say, yes, things are tough, things are in fact getting tougher, but what do Nigerians need to look forward to?
Sure, it's not about Bola Tinubu, it's about you and I, and the awareness we're creating. I'll tell you a story. My own driver, in the heat of bringing people from Libya, went to the market, and he saw a lady who said, look, all I need is 40,000 naira. My daughter will go to Europe. And my driver, who is not even literate, said to her, haven't you heard the stories about people being brought back? Didn't you see that girl who died? Didn't you see that one who said she was drinking urine? She didn't care. She said, I let my daughter, come on, make her lost in in other words, let my daughter go to Europe. So it's about the mindset. It's about the awareness. I've done this for a few years, from journalism to politics to what I'm doing today. There are some people that will never, ever, they will tell you that their destiny is abroad. I've received people who came back. Government brought them back. And guess what? They returned again. And guess what? They're calling me again and saying we're stuck again. So it's about you and I. It's about that mindset. It's about saying that this is what you're going to meet when you get there. Look, out of 100 people, one of them said to me, when we said, well, you heard that buyer say, the grace of God. You know what they said? That grace of God will be me. So the hope is that out of 100, 1,000, well, that one person will just be me. So how do you convince that kind of a person? I've been having conversations since, I haven't even had a break since 2 days ago. So it's about mindset, it's about awareness, about letting you know.
It was just yesterday, Honorable.
It's about those who come back, telling their stories. That team has a role to play in multi-agency, sectoral collaboration, about immigration. Tell them, some of those people are not going to get the asylum. So when they come back, what is the story? What are the stories they are telling? What are you putting on your program, Shehu, and other media organizations?
It was just yesterday that the National Economic Council was talking about the Japa syndrome and a possible partnership with the European Union. And I hope that that will pan out very well. In Dallas, where you are, Honorable Abikada, I know hundreds of Nigerians who are doing very well. In fact, there's some parts of Texas that they almost cannot do without Nigerians in some sectors. Nigerians are that good. Well, let me take you to the situation in Ethiopia, Kaliti prisons. You must have heard about the plight of Nigerians in that place. Hundreds of them who are languishing, either in prisons, some of them who are dead now. What is the government doing about this?
Yes, a bit about the EU. The situation is that in Germany says they have about 12,000 Nigerians in quotes, that they want to deport. And Nigeria is saying, show us the evidence that they are Nigerians. If you don't have a Nigerian passport, how do I know you're a Nigerian? I know some will get there, again, talking about Japa, then they tear their passport, throw it away. So how can I prove that you're Nigerian? So that is the issue. And Nigeria is looking at it holistically, you know, as an EU, look at this issue and let's decide who are our people. We don't want to bring back non-Nigerians. And I've seen a lot of people just claim they are Nigerians. So what Nigeria is saying, that prove to me that you're a Nigerian. Show me your passport. Show me your proof of identification. So that is the EU matter. In the case of Ethiopia, I'm sure you all saw, I don't know whether you have the video of some Nigerian who did a video and just said, oh, 250 Nigerians are in Ethiopia prison, they're going to kill them. I'm telling you categorically that that video was a lie. And that is part of the problem. Anybody can do a video. That is a subject of Senate investigation. I was in the Senate, and I believe that next week, the Chairman Senate Committee on Diaspora and NGOs, Senator Victor Ume, will present his report. So I don't want to, go ahead what is going to present. But here's what we told the Senate. Now, that is a lie. You don't have 250 Nigerians in Ethiopia prison. I gave them the list of Nigerians, about over 100 and something, less than 150, that are in that particular prison you're talking about. That is one prison, Shehu, one prison. And 99% of them are there for drugs. And some time ago, don't let me, be specific, some time ago, the Nigerian mission in Ethiopia had a long conversation with the Ethiopian authorities. And you know what? They got amnesty for every Nigerian in that prison. So they left. They let them go. They came back to their country. But guess what? A whole lot of them returned again, committed the same offense, drugs, and then they were arrested. So now what that gentleman is saying, and that man who did the video should tell you his relationship with those people in that prison. So what he said is that, well, they committed the drugs again. So open the door and to hell with you, return to their country. But then as a government, Nigeria is not even saying we won't listen. But what Nigeria is now saying is, okay, you gave us amnesty. We know, we're sorry. We know they returned again. We apologize, we're sorry. There are people. But what we're doing now is having a treaty, an MOU to say, well, let them serve their sentences in Nigeria. We said we're sorry. You pardoned us, but they returned again. So let them serve their sentences in Nigeria. So there's a document with the Ministry of Justice asking that the MOU be signed so that those prisoners you saw there will come to Nigeria to serve the rest of their sentence. Now, here's the thing. Ethiopia does not have money to even take care of prisoners. And what the guy said, even Ethiopian prisoner, any prisoner in Ethiopia, they will tell you what they go through. The food is, you can't even give your rats. But that's not for me to talk about, but it's a problem. So if Nigeria signs the MOU and people like you, Sheol, agree and publicize that, those guys will come and complete their sentences in Nigeria. But Ethiopia is saying, we're not allocating more funds, we're not giving them more food, we're not giving them drugs. If they're sick, then their relatives come and take care of them. The Nigerian mission has been doing that. But you do that for 10, they become 20, they become 30, and it keeps increasing. So that is the problem. And then, here's the thing. They are not travelers from Nigeria. No. Nigerian travelers to Ethiopia maybe runs to thousands every day. They are transiting. So Nigeria, again, needs to enter into agreement with Ethiopia, Brazil, South Africa. That is the roots of the traffic drugs. What is happening? What can we do about it? So they are not Nigerians from Nigeria. They're actually transiting. So in the process of transiting between these countries, they are arrested. So Ethiopia keeps them in prison, and the condition in prison, I know, is not the very best. So that is the situation. Yeah. So now let the Ministry of Justice speed up the MOU and they can complete their sentences in Nigeria.
All right. When that video surfaced, I was one of those who raised their eyebrow and looked at it. And thank God that the Senate actually looked into it, set up the committee, and it was also established that it was exaggerated and some of those things were not actually true. But thank you so much for throwing light.
Yeah, but before you leave, before you leave, that brings us to what surfaces on social media. If you take every video, then you're not going to take the serious ones. That you're not going to take the serious ones. The guy who did the video, look for him, call him. What is the relationship? He has a relationship with almost half of those drug barons who were returned back to prison. So don't just take any video. And I told the Senate, don't take any video and look into it. So let us also look at those videos that circulate online and are lies.
Honorable Abike Dabiri-Arawa, it's a pleasure speaking with you, and thank you so much indeed for clearing the air and speaking to us on this matter. Thank you so much indeed for tonight.
Thank you, Sheol.
I appreciate it. But that's our show for tonight, everyone. It's a pleasure having you being on this ride all the week. I will see you again on Sunday at 8 p.m. I'm sure Kimale. Have a wonderful evening.